Thank you, and thank you for this great opportunity to talk in this event. I've listened to some really interesting, really insightful presentations today on a very novel and creative uses of generative AI in higher education. So let me share my slides. I don't think I can share sound, but that's fine. That's okay. Right. So my name is Alexandra Mikrogenides. I'm a senior research fellow in the Knowledge Media Institute of the Open University. And in this talk, I'll give you an overview of the latest work we've been doing at the OU, at the Open University, trying to leverage generative AI in order to offer scalable and personalized teaching and learning services to our both to our teachers, to our educators, and also to our students. So this is a team effort. This is the team, the KMI team that has been working on these research initiatives. My research interests are in the applications of educational technology in personalized learning, self-regulated learning, lifelong learning, and also open education and open educational resources. And more recently, I have also been looking into decentralization, blockchain technology for supporting lifelong learners with immutable and verifiable accreditation, and also generative AI applications in distance and online education. And a few words about the Open University. This is one of the largest universities in Europe with over 200,000 students. We are a fairly new university. We were established back in 1969, and since then we've had more than 2.3 million people worldwide achieving their learning goals by studying with us. We have the majority of our students, over 70% of our undergrad students work either full or part-time. 28% of our UK undergraduates live in the 25% most deprived areas in the UK, and also most of our students are mature, with 33% of our new undergraduates being under 25. Right, so in this first part of the presentation, I'll talk to you about the educator-facing facilities, the educator-facing tools that we are developing at the OU, and specifically the AI module Writing Assistant. So the objectives of this work are to create high-quality learning materials in an efficient manner. So we are looking for speed and agility, which are an issue especially for fast-moving and often popular disciplines like data science. We are looking to personalize learning materials as much as possible to best suit individual needs of learners, which historically we've been doing through our tutors, our human-facing staff, our tutors, and student-facing support services. And finally, we are looking to best adapt existing learning materials. So a lot of the time, we are reusing and adapting existing learning materials that we have produced in order to update them, to make them up to speed for discipline changes or larger changes when we are looking to adapt them for a different target audience. For example, when we adapt content for micro-credentials, or when we adapt an existing course to be offered as an open educational resource. So the overall aim of this work is to investigate how and to what extent we can use GenAI, generative AI, to transform our module production so that we can support the above goals and provide students with high quality, up-to-date and personalized learning materials for a lower cost than what we're doing today. We have been conducting consultation workshops with our academics at the OU. Specifically, 4 workshops were held with 4 different OU module writing teams so that we could gather ideas from them about how we can use GenAI to help them during the production and adaptation of course modules. And these are some of the use cases that emerged from these workshops. Quick text generator, this is about quickly generating module summaries and introductions based on module content. Rewriting materials in a different style, so this is about creating module materials in different styles to suit students' abilities and needs. For example, if a student is not, they may need some additional explanations if they are not proficient in a particular topic. So you can, for example, tell the IA, explain this topic to me as if I was a 15-year-old who doesn't know anything about this, who hasn't heard anything about this before. Personalized learning journey, this is about personalizing the module experience based on students' interests and abilities, offering them with personalized recommendations, for example, about external other resources that might be of interest to them, that might be able to help them in their learning journey. Real-time assistance, this is very important, having a virtual assistant to reframe module content in real time, 24/7. Another area which is really interesting to look through the lens of generative AI is accessibility and EDI check on course content. So this is quite a laborious but a crucial part of module production, making sure that both accessibility and EDI are addressed within our content, within our learning materials. So this can be facilitated, this can be very greatly enhanced with the use of generative AI, using these tools to ensure that our content, our learning materials align with accessibility and EDI guidelines. And finally, a quiz interactive activity generator. This is about helping module creators, the module authors, to create interactive activities based on student-specific requirements. So I'll show you an example of what we have been working on. This is a prototype tool which is directed towards teachers, tutors, and the authors, the creators of learning materials at the OU. So we have built this using GPT-4 within the Microsoft Azure cloud, to which the OU is subscribing to. So this means this is walled garden. There are no data is being sent to a third party. Everything stays within the institution itself. And on top of that, we use the RAG framework to fine-tune the GPT-4 engine in order to ingest the module content, and in this way to make the responses more accurate, more comprehensive, and also to eliminate hallucinations. So this is what the interface currently looks like. So you select a module, and a unit within the module. So here we have selected languages and cultures, and there are some predetermined tasks, for example, writing a conclusion for this module. And here the assistant is producing the conclusion. The author can tell it to autocomplete. So this is the complete conclusion, and then this can be further tweaked. So the author is asking, can you add an extra sentence at the end, a summary, an in conclusion sentence? And this is what the assistant is responding. And beyond that, there is the opportunity to create quizzes. For example, here you can see we can select specific activities, and then based on these, the tool is producing some questions for the educator. Which can be used within his tutorials. This is the integration with another promising tool. This is CourtGPT. This is finding the best scientific articles in a specific domain and produces a summary with the reference, complete with the references. And finally, these are some of the activities associated, some of the learning activities associated with this module. So the educator can select those and tweak them and convert them to a different kind of activity. So for example, here, from a communicative activity, he's turning this into an assessment activity. Right. So we have been evaluating this with our module writing teams, and the feedback we have collected so far is quite positive. So I should mention that we have a strict policy towards who is allowed to produce content for the OU. So it's usually a few years that someone new in course production spends to be trained and learn how to produce OU learning materials before they are allowed to actually author their own learning material. So it's quite important to see that even with such high standards, the AI module writing assistant has scored quite high both in comprehensiveness and also in accuracy. Not so much in writing style, because the OU writing style for our learning content is quite distinctive, and this is and our academics, our module writing teams are very well trained to recognize and replicate that. But of course, by further working on this, we can improve this. We can improve these metrics and improve the writing style also of the AI outputs. Right. So moving on to our student-facing tools, specifically the AI digital assistant for students. So we are motivated by Bloom's Two Sigma problem. I'm sure most of you have seen this graph before, which very well demonstrates how one-to-one mentorship can boost the learning performance of a student, as opposed to a conventional classroom where there is one tutor for there's no one-to-one mentorship. There is one student, there is one teacher, one tutor available for several students. So this is incredible, and this has been the holy grail for several years now. But obviously, it's not possible to have one human tutor available for each student. This is not cost effective and doesn't scale. So the question here is, can AI actually help with one-to-one mentorship and help achieve this boost in student performance? And here are some of the roles that the AI can perform within the classroom. This is the work that Mike Sharples, our emeritus professor, has been investigating, and this has been published within the latest UNESCO guide on how to use generative AI in higher education. So these are some of the roles that the AI can assume in order to help with certain pedagogies, help with certain learning tasks within the classroom. So, for example, possibility engine. This is about the AI generating alternative ways of expressing an idea. A Socratic opponent. This is an opponent, the AI acting as an opponent to develop an argument. To develop an argument, with the student, helping them to express their ideas in more detail and reflect on what they have learned. Collaboration coach is about helping groups of students to research and solve problems together, and so on and so forth. So this is a very useful starting point for tweaking, for creating different personas for the AI to assist with certain learning tasks. And here I'll show you one of the tools that we have developed based on the Socratic opponent role. So the student can select from a persona which is available. This makes the interaction more natural and more engaging. So the student has asked us a question, and now the tutor is giving them. I don't think you can hear the tutor. They are giving them proposals for possible questions that they can reflect that they can reflect on. So now the student responds. I want to focus on a particular topic, and the AI tutor is giving the student ideas on how to reflect on what they have learned, and guidelines on argumentation, on different ways, on different lines of argumentation, which they can use to discuss the ideas that they have developed in the classroom. So this is a very brief overview of what we are currently developing. We are taking this forward with a new research project that is being funded by the UKRI. This is called SAGE-RAI, which stands for Smart Assessment and Guided Education with Responsible AI. So in this project, we are partnering up with the Open Data Institute in London, and we want to deploy the AI digital assistant that I showed you before, both at the Open Data Institute and also within our own platform for open educational, where we provide open educational resources to the public, called OpenLearn. So within this work, we want to formally evaluate the educational benefits that the introduction of this assistant will have for both formal and informal learners, and to develop a business case and structural and process models that will help other higher education or generally educational institutions to adopt these technologies. And finally, it's quite important also to provide ethical guidance on the uses of generative AI within this context. So very quickly, we are looking into the equality, diversity, and inclusion, and responsible research and innovation perspectives and principles. We are adopting the AREA framework, that's Anticipate, Reflect, Engage, Act, which is about exploring the ethical and societal effects of generative AI in education, with a focus on, does it shift power on AI and justice? We are looking to address biases caused by existing societal inequality, which can be reflected in every step of generative AI design and training. We are looking to improve representation, specifically for smaller population groups, LGBTQ people or people with disabilities. And finally, accessibility is quite important, looking to create resources or interactions which are accessible to users and can be used, can be efficiently and effectively reused and repurposed. We are also looking into the ADI issues that commonly arise within lifelong learning. Since the project has a lifelong learning focus, we are looking to raise awareness about new digital platforms and help learners bridge the digital divide. We are also looking into financial barriers, helping since the cost of accredited courses can be very often a bit prohibitive for many lifelong learners. We are looking to address this through the production, the AI assisted generation of open educational resources. The recognition of prior learning is another challenge. It is often there is often a bias towards traditional educational paths, which excludes individuals with non-traditional and informal educational backgrounds or from marginalized communities. The lack of inclusive pedagogy, this is also something that we are this is something very prominent within the OU teaching materials. We are trying to make them inclusive pedagogically and accommodate diverse learning needs and abilities. And this is again an area that generative AI can help with. And finally, the cultural relevance, adapting learning materials for different cultural backgrounds and experiences of diverse learners. Again, this is something that generative AI can be very helpful with. So this is ongoing work. This is I believe, quite promising work. You can find more information about this on our website. That's genai.kmi.open.ac.uk. So thank you very much for your attention, and I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you for your nice presentation. The first question is, what are the ethical implementation of AI-generated literature or modules?
So there's a lot of guidelines out there. So as I mentioned, we are also aiming to distill our best practices from the SAGE RAI project. I believe there is guidance from UNESCO, there is guidance from JISC. So this is a very good starting point, and this is incredibly useful because we are talking about a really fast-pacing field. So we are actively using those guidelines as our starting point in order to develop the policies, the educator-facing policies and also the student-facing policies for using these technologies, for using AI in a responsible way.
Okay, next question is interesting one. Can students generate their assignments by using AI tools?
So can students do what?
Can students generate their assignments by using this AI tool?
So they can use any they can use any AI chatbot to generate to create assignments. This is why we are actively looking to rethink and to reevaluate our assessment methods. So we want to move away from traditional assessment methods and more towards promoting the creativity of our students and critical thinking of our students, something that generative AI can't really do for them.
Okay, there's another question saying, looking at the live example you shared with us, the conclusion from ChatGPT was not a conclusion. It was an overall review of the topic, but not a meaningful academic conclusion. This seems to be an issue with the ChatGPT, that is, it has no ability for critical observation and no ability to conclude, hence perhaps not really useful to students. Any way to mitigate this issue?
It's true, yeah. This is the current state of affairs. I mean, this doesn't mean that these tools won't evolve over time. So one thing we are doing is, as I mentioned before, with the use of the RAG framework, we are customizing the GPT engine so that its accuracy and comprehensiveness and the comprehensiveness in its in the text it generates is improved. So this is one thing we are currently doing, and this has also been shown in the evaluation results. The tool has scored relatively equal in terms of comprehensiveness and accuracy compared to the human authored texts. But of course, yes, you can't do everything with generative AI. You can't really replace, and we are not looking to replace the human factor, the human author, who has several years. In our case, our academics that are producing these courses, the learning materials for the OU, have years of experience, have years and years of valuable experience in the production of OU learning materials. So we are not looking to actually replace them, but we are looking to support them for the time being in the more trivial and mundane tasks. For example, when it comes to summarizing text, and when it comes to creating introductions, when it comes to summarizing the learning benefits or learning objectives of a certain piece of teaching material. And I think this is at least in the current state of generative AI. I think this is something that can be done quite efficiently and in a very cost-effective way.
There's another question: how much human agency is involved in the developing of this tool? Is this an upside or a downside?
So as I mentioned, we have been developing these tools in close collaboration with our very experienced academics, and also with the support teams, with the non-academic members of staff that support the production of modules. Their input has been very valuable. They have helped us come up with the original use cases that I only showed you. I could only show you in this limited amount of time a very small subset of the ideas that these teams have come up with us. So we are still looking into. We are still scraping the surface. We are still going back to the very rich use cases and diverse ideas that they have produced in order to not only to improve our existing tools but also to experiment with new tools to help them in their everyday tasks.
Okay, another comment about the previous question about creating assignment with the ChatGPT. I think the earlier question was alluding to if staff can generate content with AI, then it is only ethical to allow students to generate answers in the same way.
So as I mentioned before, yeah, we are not looking to replace our human authors, our human content creators with AI. So we are not looking to have OU content 100% AI generated. Having said that, if we move on to actually use AI generated pieces of text or images or videos within our learning content. Of course, we will have to be transparent about this. We will have to properly reference the source of this content, of the AI generated content, and also how it was created. So we would expect our students to do the same if they are using AI in their assignments.
Okay, thank you so much for your talk. We are already 1 minute up, and thank you for a nice presentation.